All praises and glory goes to our mighty power Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, citations unto the elect men continually feeding the sheep of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, in sincerity and truth with this great gospel coming out of our Bible. So let's start with the Bible. Let's start with the Bible. This is the book of Deuteronomy 30 verse 7. It says, in Yahweh, in the Lord Yahweh, thy power will put all these curses. Whose power? The power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the children of Israel. And who's the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob today? You Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. How do we know? Because we read the scriptures. You fit the curses, right? You fit the people that were scattered amongst the other nations, right? You fit the people that it says you shall be the tail. Right now, who's the tail? You Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? You're at the bottom. And you're fully underneath the curses, right? To the point your communities are destroyed, right? You have to go to the enemy for the one of all things, right? You're worshiping wood and stone, false deities, right? It says, in the Lord thy power will put all these curses. What curses? The curses that fell upon us, right? Poverty, loss of children, loss of home, loss of land, loss of everything, right? Just like these devils right now, they losing everything. It says, in the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee, right? Who persecuted us the most? Esau, Edom. Esau, Edom, the wicked which the scriptures speak of. And who's Esau, Edom today? The so-called European race, right? The Caucasian race. And what's happening to the Caucasian race? They're going through the curses, right? They're going through the curses. They're seeing their society being brought down. Right, they're losing wealth, right? They're losing children, right? You remember what happened to that opioid addiction? So many devils died from the Midwest down to Florida, all the way to the West Coast, going back to the East Coast, all over the Americas, right? You had dead Edomites overdosing off of drugs, prescription medicine, street narcotics, right? It's not a good time for Esau, Edom. It says this is bad. It says affecting white people the most. 76% of welfare recipients in the United States of America are what? Are white. And there's no such thing as a white man. Look at the skin of this man. He's really red, right? Look at the white dude with the the so-called white dude with the white shorts and white shirt, right? He's not the same color as his clothes. Negative, right? They done lied to you. This is Edom. The word Edom is red. Esau is his real identity. Wasted away is he. Right? And they got what? They got to pay for what they did to our people, right? I'm reading it again. Let's go back. We got to keep them scriptures pumping. Deuteronomy 30 and 7, it says, in the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies. And not just Esau, Edom. China going through it. Right? Them Chinese is going through it.
Someone is eating dirt here. On May 25th, a vlogger in Guangdong filmed a homeless man sitting by the roadside in a green area. He was scooping up dirt with his hands and putting it straight into his mouth. It wasn't a movie or an exaggeration. It was a real scene happening on the streets in China. For many people, the phrase, "so poor you eat dirt," is just a joke. But for him, it's a way to survive. In China, people like him who fall into desperate situations are never just one or two. From cities to rural areas, from unemployed young people to street beggars, their lives are slowly swallowed by extreme poverty. A vlogger met an unemployed man at Shanghai train station. The man had his head down, searching through a trash bin for anything to eat. The vlogger asked him,
"Is there any food in here? Are you too poor to eat?"
"Yes, I have no money. My phone was stolen."
"How long has it been since you ate?"
"A very long time. I came to Shanghai but still haven't found a job, and I lost 2 phones. I'll just have to make do like this." The man said he came from Nantong, Jiangsu. He survives by digging through trash bins for food. Sometimes, kind people deliver food and he gets a meal from them. At night, he sleeps outside on the street corner, covered with an old torn blanket he brought from home. Also in Shanghai on May 26, a vlogger shared a video showing over 10 beggars kneeling on the ground near the north gate of Renjin Hospital in Pudong. The vlogger said that since arriving in Shanghai less than a month ago, they noticed different faces begging on the street every day. The number and frequency surprised them. They wondered, where do these people come from?
我给你们看一下我平时上班的那条必经之路。
I'll show you the path I take to work every day. It's less than 300 meters total, but every day it gathers all kinds of beggars. And every day it's not the exact same people. There are always one or two beggars I haven't seen before. One time at lunch, I saw a beggar with no arms who had a bucket hanging around his neck. An old lady gave him some coins, but he shouted behind her, don't want these, scan the QR code. I turned around and saw that his bucket actually had a payment QR code attached. The old lady told him she didn't know how to scan. Honestly, this changed everything I thought I knew about begging.
Another city, a vlogger shared a video showing
Payment QR code attached. The old lady told him she didn't know how to scan. Honestly, this changed everything I thought I knew about begging.
Right, back to Deuteronomy 30:7. The Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies with an S. With an S, right? What nation have not had part in our destruction? Right? All these heathens. Moab. You just see what's going on in China. Moab out there with no arms. He got to get scanned with a thing. Pretty soon it's going to be a chip in your body. Everything is moving towards what? That digital thing, man. Because the nigga ain't got no arms. How you going to pay, man? How you going to grab the money off the ground? Right? And that goes into in their hands or in their foreheads. Right? They going to put a chip in his motherfucking head. It's Deuteronomy 30:7. It says, and the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Right? These wicked ass nations. They're getting a taste of what they have done to us. Right? It says 76% of welfare recipients in these United States are what? You Caucasian, are white. Right? It says 2025. We got a lot of people. They think they project by 2100. There ain't gonna be too many motherfuckers around, right? Because they pushing something called depopulation. Right? They say you people of the earth, all you do is eat. You ain't worth two dead flies. They don't want to work. They just get high off of drugs. All they do is do crime and commit murder. Yeah, we got to get rid of these people. It's too many people, right? It says there are currently over 7.5 billion people on Earth. That's a lot of people. That's about to fucking die, right? There's a lot of these people. They're gonna die. It says more of them that's gonna be destroyed than be delivered. Paraphrase, right? The future don't look good for these people. Not these people in these Americas, right? That's a lot of people. Not just in America, but on Earth. Right, that's about to meet their demise through what? Famine, through what? The pestilence, through what? World War III, civil unrest, right? Pandemics. It says nothing is going back to normal, right? What it say? Nothing is going back to normal. People need to wake up before it's too late. But people ain't gonna wake up because people like the state in the condition that the things are in, right? We are living in the last days. Things are getting worse. Everything is written and everything will come to pass, right? Everything will come to pass, especially the words that are written in the scriptures. Right? These words that are written in the scriptures are coming to pass. This is the book of Obadiah 1:15. It says, for the day of our Lord Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head, right? Esau, Edom caused so much poverty on earth, right? Look what they did to the natives of America. Right? What did they do to the slaves they brought here, right? After the so-called, after they done freed the slaves, right? They done let the slaves free. And you fast forward to the Red Summer, they just started killing ninjas. They burning ninjas, claiming that ninjas is just raping so-called white women. At a time where a ninja didn't want nothing to do with a goddamn white woman. Because they knew that would be what bring death to them. But Esau was using this scenario to take over lands. They were saying the same thing about the Native Americans, right? Same thing about the Hispanics. What they say about the Latinos? They're rapists, they're drug addicts, they're murderers, they're killers, cartel, right? You've been painted. It says the accuser of thy brethren. Who's that? Esau, Edom. Esau done accuse you of everything now. the things he don't accuse you of, he's being made the face of these things. Who's the drug dealer on earth? Esau Edom, the king of Pharmakia. Esau Edom. Who's the face of what? Death and destruction. Esau Edom. Who promotes and makes weapons of mass destruction? Esau Edom. Who's against righteousness? Esau Edom. Who's the invader of lands, takeover of people's nationalities? Esau Edom. Right? Who's the thief that cometh to kill, but to kill, steal, and destroy? Esau Edom. Right? He's being identified for who he is, and these curses is being put upon his ass. Right? It says approximately 92 million jobs, about 8% of total employment, will be completely obsolete in 2030. The World Economic Forum projected in its 2025 Future of Jobs report, right? These people talking about jobs. Make America great again. No, the Lord got something set, right? The Lord is bringing an end to this man's kingdom, an end to this man's society. I'm reading the book of Psalms 2:1. It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing, right? You got so-called people in this society still trying to keep hope alive, right? Still trusting in the system, still believing in the matrix, right? Still having a glimmer of hope in what, the Federal Reserve note, right? These people still buying houses, right? You motherfucker trying to buy a house when America gonna eat a fucking missile, a couple missiles, a lot of missiles, right? You done lost your mind. That's a fucking stupid investment, right? A stupid investment. You need to put your riches and store your riches up in heaven through this gospel, right? It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Let's see, what are the people imagining, right? Psalms 49:11, it says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations, right? That's what they think in their fucking minds and in their thoughts and in their hearts, that everything's gonna be okay. America will be great again, not knowing that America is what? Spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt, Babylon the Great, right? Where the children of Israel is being held captive, right? It says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Who's that talking about? Esau Edom. Esau Edom. What's about to happen to Esau Edom? Let's read Isaiah 47 and verse 6, right? Isaiah 47 verse 6, it said, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance, right? There's a separation, there's a division, right? There's the Lord's chosen people, and there's the other motherfuckers on the earth, right? There's the Lord's chosen people, and there's the other people. As for the other people, what it says, they are as nothing. There are nothing. As a drop that falleth from a vessel, right? They are unimportant. They're like spittle, right? Isaiah 47:6, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Whose hand? To the most wickedest man of them all, Esau Edom, right? It says, thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient thou hast heavily laid thy yoke. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it, right? Esau thinking, like it says, the inward thoughts, they should go on forever, right? They got vain thoughts. They imagine vain things. They don't see what the end of their society. But guess what's coming? The end of their society, the end of their kingdom. It says, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasure, that dwellest carelessly, right? The scripture says, she that is given unto pleasure, right? Right, is dead while she liveth. Right, this is Babylon the Great, the valley of the shadow of death. Right, look at all these so-called celebrities and entertainers. They're the most depressed motherfuckers on earth. Right, they gotta go to speak to some doctor, whatever they call that person. You gotta go talk to and tell them all your secrets. Or they go to that Catholic church, or they, man, look, I ain't telling a motherfucker nothing. It's between me and my power. Between me and the Lord. Who else, man? We don't need to go to nobody but our Lord. And you can confess to, you got elder brothers you can deal with and serve, but man, look, you need to talk to your power. Right? The Lord is a jealous power. Right? He puts you in these conditions. You need to talk to him to help alleviate some of these conditions from you. Right? It says, therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things, right? But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day. The loss of children, right? Esau gonna lose so many motherfucking people of their heritage, of their nationality through what, World War III? It's gonna be like D-Day, but worse. Right? Remember World War II? Them white boys coming off them boats and just catching bullets. Motherfuckers flying overhead, just dropping bombs and hitting their asses up, lighting their asses up. It was a scene to behold. And we only seen it in the movies. We only seen it in the movies, and imagine pretty soon you're gonna see that shit in real life when you see your neighbors get gunned down by what? Asian military, Russian military, right? East Indian military, British military, right? Because everybody about to turn on Babylon the fucking Great. They showed you a movie about it. America, Red Dawn, America being invaded by what? Foreign entities, right? It says, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children, the widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments, right? You wicked ass going around the world using your money to sway the nations to turn on their own people so you could set up a bank in their country and take over their country and take over their resources and leave them in what? Poverty. That's what you've been doing. You've been robbing, stealing, killing, and destroying. It says, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, right? Thou hast said, none seeth me, thy wisdom and thy knowledge, right? It has perverted thee. Right? You say, ain't nobody see what I'm doing. Esau think he's untouchable, right? It says, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. And mischief, one of my brothers say, mischief, shall fall upon thee, but thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. He said, man, that's why these devils say, like, man, what's going on? What happened to making America great again? America's not looking too great right now, right? Right? They talking about cutting off food stamps. Who's the recipients of these welfares? A lot of crackers, a lot of Edomites. Right? They cutting off them jobs in the government. Who had them government jobs? It was them white boys. Right? They cutting off a lot of programs that would help a lot of white peoples. It helped a lot of white peoples. Let me read the book of Ecclesiasticus 25:7. It says, there be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy. And the 10th I will utter with my tongue. It says, a man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. All praises and glory goes to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Shalom.